A big hello and welcome to North Wales. Once again, I'm going to be out doing a little bit of iPhone photography today involving waterfalls, although I'm including a bit of a mini hike on this one, and hopefully towards the end maybe a little bit of a swim if that opportunity arises. But for now I'm going to crack on with this fairly short hike. Now, when I visited Aber Falls previously, I've gone to the main car park and taken the simple route down the path to the falls. I've done that a number of times, but this time I thought I'd do things a little different. Although I left home at 4:30 a.m. this morning, I still missed sunrise, but the light on the hills behind me is looking glorious this morning. Have a look at that, beautiful. Off the road, and already things are getting rather wild. I've just been warned by one of the locals that this footpath is slightly overgrown, and he wasn't joking. It's also very steep. So just in front of me here is basically a wall of bracken and some very nasty brambles. I don't think I'm going to be able to continue along this footpath. It's really frustrating. I'm only a short way from the road, but I think I'm going to have to backtrack and go the more traditional route to Aber Falls, because there's no way I'm going to be getting through here. It's really disappointed, especially on a marked public footpath. Dear me. So after backtracking and back into the main village, Aber what's its face, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that, and the footpath I was trying to walk up is just in the hill, or on the hill even, behind these houses here. You can see the incline of that hill. That area there looks like a bit of a hedgerow going up that way. That was the path I was heading up, and I was hopeful to get a really interesting perspective of Aber Falls from the top of that hill, but sadly today that's not going to happen, and I'm back on the main popular tourist route, the classic path down to Aber Falls. This is actually quite an enjoyable walk up this road. This is normally a road I drive down, so I wouldn't normally pay attention to my surroundings, but it's a beautiful little road to walk down, and it's only a short walk up from the village. And I've just thought of a big advantage with regards to finding that blocked footpath earlier. If I'd have done this hike the opposite way around, I'd come down this way first, went round the waterfalls and went back down that path to get to my car, I'd have been very annoyed meeting that wall of brambles and knowing I'd have to backtrack all the way back up that hill, past the falls and back to the car. So in a way, it's a bit of a blessing in disguise. So this is the main Aber Falls car park, and despite me making a meal of this hike so far, this is a very accessible waterfall if you use the usual route. However, there is a slight problem in that the parking meter here only accepts coins, and the price here is £5. And I don't know about you, but in 2022 I don't often have £5 worth of coins lying around. But as you can see by the sign here, the route to Aber Falls is classed as accessible. It's worth noting that this route is fairly lengthy, and although it's accessible for buggies and possibly wheelchairs, you're going to need some effort to get all the way down to the falls, which I think is around 2 miles from this particular point. Just completed the first elevation from the car park. It's not a big hill coming up this track, but it's definitely noticeable if you're not used to walking around and maybe you have mobility issues. But as you can see around me, the landscape just absolutely phenomenal. Really is nice here, and this path just makes for easy walking. I do keep looking at the side of me though, that big hill up there, and thinking I should probably be up there by now, but not to worry. So we continue down this path though. There are lots of points of interest. There's lots of remains of the Bronze Age settlements that used to be in this valley. There's one just here, is a bit of a stone circle. I'm assuming this used to be a building. I can't see any information board around, but there's lots of little places like this along the walk, which sort of just keeps the mind occupied and breaks up the walk nicely. Now, numbers wise, this waterfall is supposed to be at around 90 feet high. Now, I don't know who measures waterfalls, and I don't know how they measure them. Do you include just the bit that's got free falling water? Do you include the depth of the water? Do you go right to the top? We just don't know about these things. But what I do know is that this waterfall is one of my personal favourites in the whole of the UK. To stand here and just look at it, it's just so awe-inspiring, and you just can't get the sheer scale of this waterfall without personally coming here and visiting it. No image, no video can ever do this waterfall justice. It really is such a stunning location. Although this waterfall is undoubtedly epic, one problem I have here is trying to find a composition that does it justice. And I've been here a number of occasions before and I've taken some really nice images from it. I think it's going to be really hard to beat those. I have, however, got an idea for a slightly different composition, which I'm going to try on the return here. First, I'm going to try and find this other waterfall that's further down, and I've never visited this particular fall before. So this terrain here underfoot, as you can see, it's a little bit rocky. It's certainly not the gravel path that we were walking to Aber Falls down, but it's fairly easy to negotiate for somebody like me. And I think just around this corner we should see, hopefully, a waterfall. Oh yes, it's a baby Aber Falls. So what I originally thought would be a simple shot is proven to be very challenging. When I first got the shot set up, I went for the wide angle lens on my phone and ended up including that bush over there, and it looked very odd with this tree on the left hand side and the bush on the right hand side. So I've repositioned just to sort of get the bush a little less prominent in the scene. I think I've managed to work that. The only other option I'd have is cutting the bush down, and I don't think the National Park Authority would be too happy about that. I really struggled to find anything that I really liked at that last waterfall, Baby Aber, but hopeful, fingers crossed, I can pull something back in post-production. I'm a bit 50-50 on that, I'm not too sure. I'm heading back to the main big Aber Falls now. I'm going to try and get at least one decent image of this waterfall before it's time to head back. Sadly, this is a little too shallow to go swimming in, but it's a refreshing paddle nonetheless. As always, thank you very kindly for watching. Please do consider subscribing if you're not already, and hopefully I'll see you again, assuming but I don't drown in the school.